All right, bam. We're live there. Let's get us live here. Looks like we're live here. Okay. All right. Welcome. We'll get started here. Let me share my screen. For those of you on TikTok, see you. And then we also, if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see the shared screen. Give me 1 second to get that set up. All right. Yeah. So there we are. If any guys on TikTok, if you have any questions at any time, all you have to do is type it in and we'll go from there. Good to see you guys. We got a couple people joining. Angel, if that's you, I owe you a, you get a high five, brother. I see you commenting and I will make another video for you because you're killing it out there. Super excited to see the work you're doing, my man. I think you're the one, I believe you put in a comment that you just sold a $45,000 job. Give me a thumbs up or something if that was you. I'm pretty sure that was you. So that is awesome. Super excited for you. This industry, when you're winning, man, it is yes. Also, it is so much fun when you win this game, at least in my opinion. I like it. I love winning. You know, when you're doing well, you sell good jobs, you sell them at a profit. It's so much more fun to work when you're actually making money. So again, high five to you. All right. So look, and Angel, you already learned this today or when you sold that job. Price, contrary to popular belief, a lot of remodelers think that price is everything for their homeowner. It is not. It's actually usually like the third thing on the list. If you demonstrate all the other things first, then you can definitely keep price as a lower priority, meaning the homeowner is much more willing to spend more money with you than they are any of the competitors. This happens all the time. Homeowner will end up signing a deal with us and investing way more money than they originally even said to us. They originally thought they were going to invest, what they've asked other people to bid at, right? Because once they feel safe and all the other things, then they're ready to move forward, and you recognize that money is not always the most important thing. So, all right, let's get rolling through this. It's going to be about 12 minutes. And again, if you guys have any questions, you just pop them in there and we'll deal with it, right? All right. So again, this is a huge myth in the remodeling industry. You talk to a lot of these old school guys, what's happened is they've gotten beat up for so long and they don't have a proper sales process. It's not their fault. No one actually taught them how to do it. It's not like when you get your license, nobody explains to you, this is how you go about presenting and sell remodeling services. So it's no wonder that a lot of guys fail at it and why a lot of guys have problems, right? And again, it's not their fault. They just haven't learned how to do it. So you can't focus on price, all right? That's when you start losing jobs, if you focus on price. So here's the truth. Yes, price is an important component, okay? But it's not number one. In fact, it generally comes in third place, right? Homeowners hire based off of some deeper needs. And the more you spend time talking, you'll learn this. When you understand this, you'll stop competing to be the cheapest, and you're going to start positioning yourself as what we call the low risk, safest choice, right? Talk about this a lot. There's high risk, there's low risk. It's going to be a nightmare to this is going to be very safe. You want to be the safe contractor for the homeowner. All right. So most remodelers lead with cost because that's what they fear losing on. See, if you're scared of not getting the job, you're already losing going in, because then you're under pressure and you get scared. And when you're desperate, you think wrong and you make bad decisions. And that's why you go in and you lower price, because you're desperate and you're afraid. Okay. So Homeowners will tell you that price matters because that's because they don't want to get ripped off and taken advantage of. But what they really mean is, I need to feel safe, confident, and secure before I spend or invest the kind of money that you're talking. So you should definitely be hearing that you're too expensive. You should be definitely hearing that you're the most or one of the most expensive contractors. That's how you know you're doing it right. When you only focus on cost, you're going to sound like all the other competitors, right? And you're training the client to compare you based on price alone instead of your value, the problems that you're solving and what you're bringing to the table. So when you focus on price, it's your own fault if you're having problems selling jobs at a profit. You have to recognize that half the time you're doing it to yourself. I've learned this over the time from personal experience, okay? It's a hard lesson to hear. Homeowners don't want the lowest bid. They want the least risk. They want a guarantee. They want to sleep well at night. The wife does not want to be up worrying at 2 o'clock in the morning that her and her husband have made a bad decision hiring you and that the remodel is never going to end and that their kids are going to be eating peanut butter and jelly for the next 6 more months because they're not going to have a finished kitchen that they can cook in. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're worried about. Trust me, the homeowner might say it's great to have you here, but they want you in and out as soon as possible. They want to get back to their normal life. All right. That's what that emotional roller coaster that we talk about is. Okay. So you got to understand the real decision process homeowners are going through. Homeowners are asking themselves this: can I trust this person who's sitting across from me right now, who's in my home, to remodel my home? And can I trust them with the amount of money that they're asking for? So can I trust them with my house and with my money? Can I trust? That's what they want to know. If the answer is, I'm not so sure, then sometimes it won't even matter how cheap you are. Okay, they're going to walk and they're going to go talk to somebody else. Second, they want clarity and they're looking for confidence. They need to see that you are providing a clear plan to get from start to finish and that you understand it. You've done it before, right? That you understand the design process, and that's how you're going to reduce the uncertainty. If they sense that they're unsure because you just scribble some crap on notes, and when you opened up the door to get out, like half the things fell out of your truck, your shirt's a mess, you're taking phone calls because you forgot to put your phone on vibrate, like all these things start letting the homeowner know this guy's disorganized, all right? And that you're going to stall and make their project a mess. Even if your price is attractive, they might still pounce. All right, so the third thing, that's when we get to price. And only after you've established clarity, right, does cost become a lesser of a factor. So understand that they're asking themselves, is this investment worth the outcome? A lot of people will gamble on a cheap thing. You ever just buy something, you're like, wow, it doesn't cost that much, so I'm not going to be out much if it doesn't work. Homeowners are the same way. If it's something that's really cheap, they might be willing to take a gamble. But most homeowners, if they're provided with a proper process and you show them confidence and clarity that you can finish, that's when they make a nice investment. So ARI, that applied relational intelligence, the way that you connect with the homeowner, when you do all these things, you shift the homeowner away from price shopping, and what you're really helping them do is safety shop. You're providing them with that peace of mind, that comfort. It's like you're wrapping them in a warm blanket and you're saying, come here, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. We are going to take care of all of your remodeling problems. We are your savior. You can be thankful. Take it easy. Take a load off. Go sit down. Now that I'm here, pour yourself a drink. It's all going to be taken care of because we're going to handle it from start to finish. That's how they should feel when they talk with you. So remodeling isn't about buying the commodity. It's about buying a transformation. You are helping them go from here to here. That's a process, and their whole house is going to evolve. Their life is going to evolve, and people will pay for certainty, peace of mind, and knowing that they're not going to regret that journey and going along and doing the decision with you. So When they trust and when clarity is present, man, price becomes just a filter. It's not a deal breaker. Sure, they're going to look a little bit into price. They would be stupid to not. However, it's not the primary motivator, nor is it the primary driver. It's more about like a safety check, just to make sure that it's still, it fits into a mold or so. So, look, I'll give you an example. I had two different clients, right? And they had the same size project. Now, one of them went with the lowest bid, okay? They ended up reaching back out to us about 6 months later to fix all of the problems, okay? And the other client that invested a little bit more they were both decks. And the second one, they ended up going with us. And in fact, they spent a little bit more money so that we could, again, because we explained to homeowners, if you just pass code, that's like getting a D to C in the real world. And we upgrade them like, hey, maybe we should do a slightly better footer. We should upgrade the joist to the next size so we take care of any bounce, right? So when you're having a party, we're going to upgrade the railing. We're going to adjust the heights. All these things so that we're going to provide you with a very robust, stout build. Now, here's what's interesting. The one that invested the most money, at the end, they came over to us and thanked us. They pulled me aside as they were giving the final check to the project manager. I happened to be on site. And they literally said, thank you so much for educating us about what the decision that we were making in this investment, because we are so glad that we purchased the better option. We've been to a friend's house and their deck's falling apart, and they went with a cheap person. And they basically threw the money out the window because now they're having to have it rebuilt just 5 years later. And homeowners have to be guided in a way that isn't you selling them or twisting their arm. You're just sharing information. So the one who prioritized the trust and the clarity over price, they ended up actually saving money in the long run. Okay, that's basically the process. So stop relying on price. You figure out how to create some urgency because you're building your trust and you're providing the clarity. And when you do, you present your price, you do it confidently. And it's a natural next step. It's not the opening, it's just the next thing we do. Here we go. Here's the cost, and we're going to move forward. So remember, price isn't the decision. Price is just the confirmation. You focus on that, you'll get somewhere. All right, last thing here is I would just tell you to think about some of your last couple sales that maybe you did or did not get, and ask yourself, was I focused too much on price? Did I establish enough trust? And was I very clear and helping provide clarity in all the problems that I solved? So write down some things that, like, what is a better trust building questions that you can start asking the clients? And what are some clarity building questions that you can ask clients in the future? Focus more on trust and clarity. Price it will come up when it's required. So that's the process. Here's how you can use AI. You can ask it to help you write your remodeling sales script that positions price as the number 3 factor in the homeowner's decision process, right? You build trust first with safety-focused questions, peace of mind-focused questions, create clarity with the planning and design questions, right? Position and start moving them forward to getting a proper plan in place first. And then you confidently present price as a confirmation step, right? Remember we talked about 3 variations, good, better, best. Always discuss that with homeowners. That way they feel like they have some room. It's why when you go to restaurants, like a McDonald's or something, there's small, medium, large, right? So that you can pick the one. You don't feel pigeonholed like you have to choose the one. Car makers do this. Home Depot, all the stores have, like, there's 3 product lines. You walk into the tool corral, you can buy the Milwaukee, the pro grade, you can buy the rigid, which is the middle of the line, or you can buy the Ryobi, which is the cheapest, right? There's always more than one option for that drill. So practice this, it'll work out for you. And the last thing is, remember that homeowners don't want the cheapest. They really don't. They want the safest. So stop selling dollars, start selling safety, peace of mind. All right, that's what I have for you guys tonight. Appreciate you. Who has some questions? Is anything you guys want to chat about? If you want to watch this on replay, it should be live by tomorrow. You can pop on over to the YouTube, go under workshops, and you'll see the lives. Today was day 28 of the 100-day series. There was another 54-day series I did before. You can watch those if you want, but this is day 28 of 100 that you just listened to here. So that's what I have for you. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to pop them in there. All right, and Angel, if you're still around, you should tell us, Angel, you should tell us more about the sale. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, how much more expensive were you? And what kind of job did you end up landing? What's your niche? What did you sell? Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to. Let me see if I have anything on the YouTube. Give me a second while I'm waiting for any of you. All right. But yeah, if anybody on, all right, cool. Kitchen remodel, you were over 5,000 more than the other guys. Awesome. Good for you. That's profit right there, hopefully, for you. That's awesome, Angel. Angel, I don't know if you've seen it or not. We have, I've been working on something called the R system, R stream system, and it's specifically designed, and we're launching it just for kitchen remodelers right now. If you'd like to be part of a group that's going to get to see this whole system first, you should reach out to me. If you, maybe you have, I think you have. Yes, I believe you already put your thing in. You should be seeing a message from us in your DMs. Okay, we got to get you over to our the Remodeling Academy. I have a web page there, so we can get a little more information from you, so we can get you set up for that. This is going to be good for you. You're going to be able to envision kitchen remodeling and the way you run your remodel side of your business from a whole new standpoint. So 5,000 is nothing. Okay, yeah, you will have it probably in half hour if you haven't already. It was already sent, but it gets sent usually on the delay. So we'll check your DMs in a little bit, okay? And we'll get you set up. But yeah, so if you're already able to oversell like you're doing now, it's just going to get that much easier for you. Super excited, man. That's awesome. When do you start the project? Like how far out do you guys book these jobs right now? Fantastic. Good for you. So let me ask you, for us, we would try to usually get kitchen remodels done. 6 weeks would be our goal, right? So we're talking hopefully less than 2 months. How long do you expect a project like that? If you're looking at your schedule, what do you think it's going to take you guys to do from start to finish on a job like that? 5 weeks. Very good. All right. So yeah, you probably already are learning this as well. So a lot of guys, one of the reasons why some contractors have problems landing jobs is they don't get it done fast enough, right? So then they end up having to charge more because their guys aren't efficient. All right, I'll be done right before the holidays. That's awesome. So this homeowner is going to be real excited. They're going to get to enjoy this this new kitchen, you know, with the family coming over for Thanksgiving, Christmas. So, oh, that's awesome. Good for you, man. That's exciting. And yeah, if you can stick to your guideline, like from your schedule, and be very efficient, you'll be much more profitable. Why are you blocking me on your thing? Yeah. So what's Holden Goldwyn? I think you're in the wrong account, brother. I don't know what you're. You know that's whatever you're talking about is nonsense. So why don't you bounce, brother, or we'll just bounce you. But yeah, Angel, awesome, man. Uh, Angel, did the homeowner have any other objections that came up that you had to, bounce around before you landed the job? Yeah, that'll happen. How So one thing that'll be interesting to see over time is how you're attracting your clients and what advertising, what your ad copy is, what your headlines, hooks are, to figure out. But that's awesome. I'm glad you landed the job. And remember, price is going to, as you're developing your sales process, price will be important in the beginning. Over time, though, as you're developing your repertoire, your process, and you're asking really good questions and you're having the homeowner think a lot and you're showing them a completely different process from the competition, price will lead less and be less of objection. And where I'm going with this is you'll start introducing in your process, Mr. and Ms. Smith, you probably already have multiple prices, and they're probably going to be a lot less than ours. And let me explain several of the reasons why that is the case, right? And this is where you start almost your strength is that your price is more, and you're going to show why the other contractors in all the weaknesses and all the risk that exist in their world because their price is less. And then that way, when your price is more, the homeowner agrees with you and they go, yeah, of course your price was going to be more because you're doing all these much better things for us. And it makes more sense. In fact, maybe you said this or maybe not, but we like to say to them, if in fact, if we're not more expensive, then please forgive me. I've made a mistake. I better go back and double check my numbers, right? Because we're a legit company. We do what we say. You can trust our word. You can look at our track record. We get results. You start building your credibility on the fact that, of course, your price is more because you're not going to be that change order person that comes and does all these bait switches at the end. Yeah. Yeah, let them know up front that you're going to be more expensive on purpose by default. And it's not because you're making more profit, it's because you're going to provide them with a better product. Like your guys are actually going to use structural framing, nails, structural screws. You're not going to be using cheap drywall screws to frame walls. Like you're going to use the proper product. You're not going to try to save a nickel here, $5 there, and let them know like this is what contractors do. A lot of contractors will hide cheap materials in the background because they're like, I won't be here in 3 years when it fails, but not you because you're a professional. And that's the thing about a professional. A professional does the right thing when nobody's looking, right? You let the homeowners know that you take pride in your work. And for you, it's all about making sure that what you build lasts and sticks around, right? And you take time, you and your crew are educated on the proper ways to go about construction. And because you're not trying to just lure and get the homeowner to bite on the cheapest price, that means that you don't have to go around once the job starts and find all these ways to cut corners to make it work, because you're a proper professional. So that is awesome. All right. Well, I'm happy I can stay on a couple more minutes if anybody has. Let me see. This one had me nervous because I still do the free estimates. I spent 8 hours. Yeah. So look, that's all right. We all have to go through our own process. Okay. And that's, so I would tell you, hey, look, whatever you're doing is working. You're landing the job. You're able to sell it for more money. And also, you could start positioning yourself as the person that puts the paid design first, especially for kitchens, right? It's extremely important that a homeowner gets a proper plan because a kitchen is complicated. And you're going to have to answer all those questions before you start the remodel anyway. Like someone's going to have to do it, unless you're doing 100% pull and replace, which even then you should still have something done up front where you make sure you verified all the measurements and, make sure that there wasn't something strange because the cabinet company that you're going with, if the cabinets are more than 20, 30 years old. So, but that's good. You've sold it. I would just encourage you to be open to the idea that for kitchens especially, you can, and maybe you start just with a little bit of a measure fee. Maybe you say, hey, Mr. Smith, our second appointment, you've done a preliminary over the phone, say, I'd like to come out and talk to you about your kitchen, and it's going to be a $45 measure fee. I want to come out and measure everything, and we'll talk about price. I mean, Home Depots, Lowe's, all the big box stores do all that. That's a very easy one to get started on. And as you build up your confidence, you'll start saying you'll probably want to charge a couple $100s to do the design. And then you'll start getting to a place where that becomes easy. So then you'll be like, okay, now I'll charge a couple thousand to do this. So I would tell you right now, you're doing everything. You're perfect. That's fine. Yeah, it happens. Good for you. You sold it. And yes, you can definitely start charging for the design. And, that's a whole different process. And it might help. You should probably look at some of our groups. As you see other people that are doing it, I think you're the kind of guy that you'll go, damn, I could do that. If they're doing it, I can do it. Does that make sense? I mean, I can share with you hundreds of companies that are charging to do designs one way or another. And once you start seeing the other guys that are doing it, you'll be like, okay. So you're doing, I guess this is not a pull and replace if you're moving things around. Are you moving mechanicals too? Like, is the plumbing going to go in a new location? Is electric and things like that going to have to get all redone? Okay. Yeah. So not a big deal, but yeah, you still might be moving everything over a bay or two, if it's coming up through the floor. All right. Well, still very exciting. And I mean, it's got to be a good feeling. You got to be, patting yourself on the back for being able to walk away with the job and knowing that you were more expensive than the competition. And that's where I think you're starting to recognize, hopefully, I think you made some comments, right, that the homeowner felt like you really listened to them and asked good questions. And that you're getting it. Once you get to there, that is, to me, that's where you become the professional remodeler. You are now separating yourself from most of the competition out there that just go out, throw numbers on a wall, like testing to see if the spaghetti is ready. So, and nothing but respect for you. That's awesome. Congratulations. This is just the first of many for you. You'll be knocking these things out like it's no big deal. Look at you. Angel, my man, that is awesome. Yeah. Sold that and another 15,000. Yeah, man. It starts becoming, I can only speak from my experience, but when you get the proper skill set, playing this game. To me, it's a game, right? You go out and you're just like, I need to sell projects. I need to drive revenue through my company, and it has to be profitable because you're providing um, living like a you have employees most likely or subcontractors, and you're able to provide them with a future because they can count on you to provide steady work. So now you're giving them the money and the income so that they can provide for their family. And this becomes really amazing when you can look around and go, I've got like these guys that I'm helping, keep them to do well. And you're learning your skill set, and then you're providing a good service for the homeowner. So the homeowner's happy because you're coming in solving their problem. The people that work for you, whether they're employees or subcontractors, they're happy because you're solving their problem of needing to earn money. To me, that's a very rewarding career. And also, when you're walking away with a proper profit, because you're the one taking on all the risk, you're the one doing the hard work. Nobody else wants to go and be the guy who has to sit and sell the jobs with the homeowner. So you should be getting properly rewarded for doing that. And when you are, and you figure out that it's much easier when you understand the game up here, it becomes fun. It's like you almost want to, how many appointments can I book next week? So that's exciting for you. I'd be interesting to hear what your like your new project and profit margin is since you've been like upgrading your sales process, let's call it, compared to where you were maybe a year ago or even 6 months ago. What type of flooring was it? What do you guys do? Was it like hardwood, laminate, carpet? Okay, LVP and tile. Yeah, I mean, the reason I ask is 15K, that's a good size flooring to me. I mean, if it's for an average homeowner. I don't know what market you're in. What part of what part of the country are you in? Okay, so Southern California. Um, and what is the average home value of the homes that you're selling these jobs to? Okay, so all right, yeah, 600 to 1 mil. Okay, so then these are so your projects, your prices are probably only going to go up from here on out. No, that so you'd be surprised. Like everybody's going to find their niche. You got to look around the area. Obviously, the more expensive homes, sure, you can sell more higher end products, obviously. But I mean, 600,000 to 1.5 mil, that's a good market to work in. I mean, you can be very profitable all day long in there. I found that the ultra high end sometimes can be tricky too. And, obviously the low end, you kind of, in my opinion, you want to stay away from the low end market. It's usually nothing but trouble down there. So, anything that's over like 350,000 usually in my area, at least, like maybe 250,000 for like a condo. But yeah, once you get up over that price range, you're dealing with people that are typically working are earning money and they want to take care of their house, right? You're usually not in a $1 million property being on subsidies. Yeah, you end up the ultra high end. From my perspective, when you move into that market, it's going to be much more about you being a schmoozer. Like you'll be spending a lot more time socializing in some respects. So whatever. I would say check them all out. You got to work with your personality and where you want to go. I tend to not be in the ultra high end personally. I don't know. I just maybe for whatever reason. So, Angel, I want to show you something. I noticed you signed up. You've got my book now, and this is where we got to get you to check out this R stream. Let me show you that page real quick. Give me 1 second. All right. Damn, I can't. Hold on, I can do this. I'm gonna see if I can put my laptop. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Yeah, that's all. That's not going to work. So, Angel, we're going to get you. I got to get you over to this web page for the R stream, and there's just a little application that you'll fill out. Okay, it's at our company's website, the Remodeling Academy /application /R stream. Anyway, I'll get that to you, and we can get you set up there, and it'll help streamline all the stuff, everything that you're doing now. We're gonna help you put it like right here and make it super easy for you. So that is awesome. Just Angel or anybody else, does anyone have any questions here before I hop off for tonight? Well, for those of you that have been on and stuck around, I appreciate it. I appreciate all your help. No more questions. Yeah. Angel, again, man, like high five to you, brother. Keep killing it, man. It's exciting. And yeah, it's fun to watch and hear about. So please feel free to share and let us know what other jobs you land next. All right. The rest of you, have a good one. Thanks for being here. And we'll be back every day. So you can catch part of this. You'll get, if you're a subscriber to the TikTok channel or to the YouTube, you'll get notified when we go live, and we'll go from there. All right. You guys are awesome. Have a great night. Angel, again, congrats. Take care, guys. See you. All right. So those of you here on YouTube, if you also want to check out our TikTok account, you might want to get over there. It seems to get a little more different type of interaction on the TikTok. Definitely people putting in a lot of questions. For whatever reason, I haven't seen that same level of engagement on YouTube, whatever. I'm not sure what the reason is. All right. Have a good one. And I will do this. I should have been sharing. I will share my screen for just a minute. So if you are a kitchen remodeler, yeah, if you're a kitchen remodeler, you want to go here. Let me do this. Let me get that off the screen. So right up here, you can see the remodelingacademy.com/application /funnel. You know what? That's not the page. That is, hold on. -r stream. Yeah, so it's r-stream. It comes up this way as well, but we'll get you guys over to this page, and then you can apply for the R-stream system. So if you're a kitchen remodeler, hear this. The game has changed. The way people go about doing kitchen remodels, if you're a contractor, this is the way it's going to be done in the future. So I have understand my background. Like sometime back, I helped sign a deal with one of like the big box stores to be a kitchen installer for over 16 locations. So seeing what hundreds and hundreds of kitchens do, how to manage them, how to sell them. For years now, we've had our own process for how we measure kitchens to get that paperwork over to the designers. I have taken that from a pen and paper application, and I have an entire web program now that people can use so that you're entering all the data and it gets right over to the designers. We have an entire process for how we pre-qualify homeowners about what type of kitchen remodel they're going to do. That's also a web app. So the whole game, the way you're going to price them, the jobs, the way you manage the job, the way you calculate and come up with your schedule, right? That is how we make kitchen remodeling so efficient, so effective, and so profitable. So if you haven't yet, you'll want to get yourself over to apply to be one of our initial people that gets into the R-stream system. It's really an impressive process, and otherwise, I can only say to you that if you plan to be in this industry in the next 3 years and you want to be the top kitchen designer or kitchen installer in your marketplace, you're either going to want to be using our system or you're going to be working for someone that does. That is just the reality of where the marketplace is going. So I would tell you the best thing to do is to be on the front lines and to get on over there so that you can lead instead of having to work for someone else and follow. But those that have this system are just going to be on a completely different level. It's almost not going to be fair, okay, to be quite honest. The level of professionalism that you're going to be able to provide to a homeowner now, it's unparalleled. So you're going to want to apply to get into this program. And again, we are looking for 100 people to start. So that is going to fill up quickly, and it is what it is. But that's where we are, what we're shooting for. So if you think that you're one of the top companies, or you want to be one of the top companies across the country, then you'll want to get into the program, okay? And yeah, it's better to be the leader than a follower in this business. All right, I think that's everything for this one. So you guys have a good one. If I can answer any questions, as always, reach out and we'll go from there. So again, you want to reach out to me, let me know that you want to be part of our stream. However you do that, okay? Message me. You want to be part of our stream. If you are a kitchen remodeler or designer and you want to be leading the industry in the next couple of years, you want to get a part of this process. You want to get set up and be one of the first 100 people that we're going to take into this program so that you can get access to the solutions and the systems, and you can start putting them in place. All right. And we wish you guys the best. Have a good one. And stop the share at this point. So again, just reach out to me directly and tell me that you want to be part of our stream, and we'll get you there. All right. Take care.